Channel Japan.
Welcome to Channel Japan. I'm Mai Demizu.
And I'm Yasu Ota.
Every week, we bring you the freshest information out of Japan from a studio here in Tokyo. From the economy to culture and even food, if you want to know what's happening in Japan, this is where you find it. First up is Executive Insight, in which we interview the heads of Japan's top companies. So Ota-san, who are we hearing from today?
Today, we'll be hearing from Yasumi Kudo, the president of Japan's biggest shipping company, NYK Group. Demi-san, what comes to mind when you think about shipping firm?
Let me see. Well, I think of big ships carrying a lot of cargoes.
That's right. That's basically what they do. Let me give you a little more detail. Shipping companies transport various cargo on huge ships. For example, this is called a container ship.
I see.
Yeah, it carries various indispensable items such as food, clothes, and even home appliances. And this large ship, as you know, is a crude oil tanker,
Yes. which
which carries oils from the Middle East to Japan. And this is designed for, do you know what this is? This is designed exclusively for transporting
Car
cars.
carriers, I think.
Yes, car carriers.
Well, those ships are important for a country like Japan, which is surrounded by water.
That's right. But many Japanese shipping firms are under heavy pressure from strong yen and high oil prices, as well as the competition from overseas rivals. That's why NYK Group is branching out into new businesses. I recently spoke with Mr. Kudo about those initiatives. Have a look.
Executive Insight. This is the Port of Tokyo. Cars destined for overseas markets are quickly loaded onto what's called a car carrier. This particular ship is one of many owned by NYK Group. The company also has container ships, which are considered the mainstay of marine transport and carry everything from precision equipment to food. This is an oil tanker. There are also LNG tankers made to hold liquefied natural gas. And this is a luxury cruise ship, offering short voyages of 2 to 3 days, as well as around-the-world trips that take 100 days. NYK Group's ships make port calls in over 350 cities around the world. The company has continued to increase profits through its diverse shipping business. We spoke with the president, Yasumi Kudo.
どのくらいの数の船をどんなものを持ってらしてどこに行ってるんですか
In terms of ships we have in operation, there are about 830 in all. If you calculate their total tonnage, the total amount that they can carry, it's about 60 million tons.
6000万トン
One of the company's fastest growing businesses is car carriers. This car carrier, called Artemis Leader, is 200 meters in length and weighs 62,000 tons. Seen from the pier, it has the feel of a massive building. Inside, there are 12 levels and numerous parking spaces. On this day, they're loading Japanese cars fresh off the production line. This ship can carry up to 6,400 vehicles. Such a feat is possible because of their expertise in storage built up over the years. Since time is limited, they must load 80 cars per hour. A group of drivers called the Gang drive the cars to a depot on the ship. Next, Drivers in charge of parking the cars take over. Guided by wands and whistles, they park the cars in designated spots.
We should have patented the loading technique we developed a long time ago, because now it's the global standard. Cars are parked with only a 10 centimeter space between the doors and 30 centimeters between the bumpers.
10センチ、30センチですと揺れたらぶつかりませんか？
We use a device called a clasper, which is made up of a hook and a belt.
そういうふうにこうフックをかけてですね。
It keeps the cars hooked to the deck of the ship. With that, the cars won't budge, no matter how much the ship tilts.
絶対車は動きません。
Across the deck of the ship are numerous round holes. A hook connected to a belt is inserted in the hole to keep the cars in place. A total of 4 belts are used, 2 in the front and 2 in the back. With little space to maneuver, workers must make sure that the metal hooks don't scratch the cars. This is a task assigned to seasoned professionals. There's one rule that everyone who works here must abide by.
時計もダメージ、ペンもやっぱりこういうところに刺してたりしないと、それこそ引っ掛けるんで、もちろんこれもダメージにつながりますので中入れてますけど。
Even a small scratch in the body will make them unsellable as new cars.
その積むという作業も海運会社の仕事なんですか？
Shipping companies are responsible for loading products without damaging them.
This is the port of Yokohama, considered Japan's gateway to the ocean since it opened 150 years ago. On display here is a ship that was taken out of service years ago, the Hikawa Maru. It remains a symbol of the Japanese shipping industry. Built in 1930, it carried cargo and passengers across the ocean for 30 years.
戦争にこの船行ってるんですね。病院船でした。運航して30年でここに係留されてもう今年で53年になるんですけれど、がっちりと作ってあるんですかね。それが今こうやって残されてる。その時点でもやっぱり会社の業績が良かったってこともあるでしょうけれど。
Also in Yokohama is a museum built by NYK Group. This place was once a major transit point for Japanese people traveling overseas. Starting in the days of the Hikawa Maru, the company has long been involved in passenger transport.
欧州航路、シアトル航路、豪州航路に非常に優秀な船を連続して投入して美味しい料理、きめ細かなサービスで設備のいい船でチャップリンですとかアインシュタインですとかヘレン・ケラーとか著名人にもたくさん乗っていただいた戦前の華やかな一時代でございます。
But in more recent years, the company has found itself at a crossroads amid growing competition from rivals in emerging markets.
経営計画上のキャッチフレーズみたいなものあるんですか？
アジアのね。
Our slogan is to connect Asian growth to the world. The world's factory is now concentrated in Asia, so Asia has increasingly become our top priority. We want to help our customers deliver products made in Asia and grow together with them.
っていうのがもう一番大事なことになると思います。
The rapid growth of shipping to and from Asia has made transport routes increasingly complex. For example, cars.
ずっと昔は日本から
In the past, we used to be able to ship cars straight to the Middle East from Japan. But now, cars are being exported out of Japan Thailand, Indonesia, and even Australia. Connect all those routes with a thin line and you'll find that you can only use small ships to carry the cargo. But bigger ships are a lot more efficient. That's why we built a terminal in Singapore, specifically for cars.
ターミナルを作りましてね。
一回集める。
ちょっと小ぶりな船で
We use smaller ships to transport them to Singapore. From there, big ships are used to carry them to the Middle East.
ドンと持っていくと。
The company set up a hub and spoke system of gathering assembled cars in Singapore and shipping them out based on demand.
中国とか東南アジアもですね、やっぱり高級車。
Luxury car imports by China and countries in Southeast Asia are growing. One of our customers is a German manufacturer.
昔ヨーロッパから中国向け
In the past, there were very few shipments of cars from Europe to China.
今年あたり中
But
国
last year, China took delivery of 1 million luxury cars.
入手し始めてますんで。
In China, the company is meeting growing demand by deploying a fleet of 800 trailer trucks for overland transport. They now deliver 1 million imported and domestically made cars across the country.
In terms of improving convenience for our customers, it's difficult to do that with ships alone. We have to provide additional services such as trailer transport. The establishment of the transshipment terminal in Singapore that I mentioned earlier also boosts our cost and price competitiveness. That's why we have 120 car carriers, the biggest fleet among our peers around the world. We are starting to differentiate ourselves from rivals by providing services that go beyond just shipping.
NYK Group has been working to transform itself into an integrated logistics company, covering not just the sea, but land and air transport as well. Their focus on the future is embodied in this: a conceptual model of the next generation ship.
これはですね、2030
We're hoping to launch this type of ship by around 2030.
っていうモデルシップなんですけどね。
羽がついてます。
The wings are actually sails. The ship will also be ecological, powered by fuel cells that use LNG as well as solar panels. It's estimated that CO2 emissions will be reduced by up to 70% compared to conventional ships.
帆船でもですね、
So this ship can travel at an average speed of 14 knots with just the wind.
船は走れるんです。
That's about 20 kilometers per hour.
自分の
In the future, ships will be able to generate their own electricity, much like fuel cell cars.
電気を作りながら、
ああ、なるほど。
で
発電するんですね。
And no emissions.
A big focus now is human resource development. Five years ago, they set up a nautical university in the Philippines to nurture future employees. Students learn about safety and environmental policy and maritime technology. By teaching the students from scratch and getting them to board ships at an early age, the company believes they can nurture higher quality maritime transport personnel.
いろんな教育機関があると思うんですけども、特に日本郵政が特殊な教え方をされてるんですか？
もちろん船ってのはやっぱり
With ships, actual experience is the basis of everything. That's why we bring the students aboard our ships to teach them. We have a lot of ships, so everyone who has graduated from our school can undergo on-site
う
training.
ちの船に乗っけて
We have the know-how and facilities to teach students, and we can start building employee loyalty.
も高まっていくし。
Graduates of the school are now working as junior navigators and engineers for NYK, with the aim of one day being in charge of their own ships. A company with a history of venturing into new waters is now charting a course into the future.
How do we build sustainability into our relationship with Mother Earth? That's Kaiteki, Mitsubishi Chemical Holdings.
Suzuki Way of Life. Mitsubishi Electric is helping to change the environment for the better around the world.
Green subway systems in India.
Green air conditioning systems in Singapore.
Echo changes for a greener tomorrow. Mitsubishi Electric.
Traditional.
Consistent.
Precise.
Speedy.
Professional. Innovative.
Polite. Quality from Japan. The best of business in Asia. SMBC, Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation.
Hey, look at this. They're building a huge steel plant with Kobelco technology.
Kobelco? Never heard of it.
It's Japanese. They can make iron with incredible speed. What once took 8 hours can be done in just 10 minutes.
Wow, the Japanese are incredible. The country of karate.
Ha! 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 Karate has nothing to do with it.
True.
The talk of the world. Kobelco.
Just a map and a heart full of courage. Our founders started out with little, but they dared to dream big. Today, our reach is global and our resources extensive, but we still have our eyes on the horizon. With courage, reaching out to the world. Mitsui & Company.
Asia, the engine of the global economy. Japan, a regional powerhouse. And now, direct from Japan, economic news with a global impact in Chinese and English, delivered by Nikkei. Read the future, lead the economy. Nikkei, Japan's leading media for business.
You're watching Channel Japan. In our next segment, we introduce to some popular Japanese documentary program. Today, it's an episode from Japanese Dream produced by TBS. So, Ota-san, what's the topic today?
It's said that there are about 50,000 people in Japan and over 10 million worldwide who have lost their legs due to illness or injuries. Prosthetic legs are indispensable for many of them. We will be hearing about a Japanese engineer who has developed a revolutionary pair of prosthetic legs.
Well, let's take a look.
The Nobel Prize, which a Japanese professor won in the field of physics last year, is considered the world's most prestigious prize. One university has produced 77 Nobel laureates. The Massachusetts Institute of Technology, better known as MIT. Ranked the top university in the world, it attracts some of the brightest and most promising young minds. Among them is 34-year-old Ken Endo. He was nominated one of the most innovative engineers in a major U.S. science journal. His invention, a magical tool to dramatically transform the lives of those who have lost their legs. This is the ultra high-tech prosthetic leg, which turns convention on its head. Mr. Endo's dream is for people with physical disabilities to overcome obstacles with the power of technology.
I believe physical disabilities are not found in people, but rather in technology. By enhancing technology, it's possible to eradicate disabilities altogether.
I have a dream.
The main difference from conventional prosthetics is that there's a motor, so the ankles can move. Conventional prosthetics are lighter, but lack that ability. The motor helps recreate the kicking motion of walking.
The main feature of Mr. Endo's high-tech prosthetic leg is the motor, which makes it possible for the ankle area to move and the feet to kick against the ground. The force of the kicking movement is automatically adjusted to match the walking speed. This allows users to walk smoothly and naturally. The original inspiration for Mr. Endo's work was a high school friend who had his leg amputated at the young age of 24. Kazuhiro Yoshikawa was in a class 4 years below Mr. Endo, but the two played in the same basketball team. During summer vacation, they trained together and had become as close as real brothers.
僕らの学年ももう4つも離れてるんですけど、ケンさんケンさんって言って気軽に話しかけられるような兄貴つかお兄ちゃんって感じですね。ケンさん大学で何やってるんですか?
One day, he asked me what I was studying at university. I told him that I was designing robots with artificial intelligence, thinking that he probably wouldn't understand. But he seemed genuinely impressed. He's friendly with everyone and straightforward.
But one day, the energetic Mr. Yoshikawa suddenly fell ill. The cause was a malignant tumor on his knee, bone cancer.
なんか僕がんを告げられた時に気絶しちゃったんですけど、ふっとこう意識飛んじゃったことが実は病室であって、病室というか診察室であったんですね。最初に聞いた時だったんで。
He was always complaining about how his knee hurt. I didn't think much about it and just told him to go to the hospital to get it fixed. It was a shock for me.
To remove the tumor, the doctors had to cut out his knee joint and replace it with a prosthetic. But the cancer continued to spread. Problems with the artificial joint also caused severe and frequent pain. Wanting desperately to help his friend, Mr. Endo would demonstrate his research every time he visited the hospital. Mr. Yoshikawa would say, "That's a great robot. I hope I can walk on my own legs soon." His friend's cheerfulness left Mr. Endo feeling frustrated at his own inability.
He said he wanted to walk on his own legs. I realized robots would be no help for someone in his condition. More than anything, I wanted to help him. I felt I had to build a different device to do that.
Later, while reading Mr. Yoshikawa's blog, Mr. Endo found out that his friend had made a major decision.
He wrote in his blog that he was going to amputate his leg and replace it with a prosthetic. It was titled, "My Vision of the Future." I printed it out and pinned it to my wall. This morning, the doctor asked me if I'd changed my mind. I told him no. When I think that tomorrow is the day, I feel nervous.
Mr. Yoshikawa revealed his innermost thoughts, something he had never done, not even to Mr. Endo.
I felt that there was a huge difference between my situation and his situation of not knowing whether he'll be alive tomorrow. When I think about that, I feel there's much more that I can do.
A prosthetic leg for Kazuhiro. As Mr. Endo buried himself in research, there was one phrase he repeated. Disabilities are not found in people, but in technology. After 7 years, he finally completed his high-tech prosthetic leg. Sensors track the walking speed, and motors help the feet kick the ground. To reduce the weight, a section of the motor uses special springs. With this, users can easily climb stairs. The agility is similar to one's own legs. What's more, the movements are almost natural.
And since I've been an amputee for over 10 years, there's been nothing that simulates that motion. So it was an incredible feeling the first time.
After returning home to Japan, Mr. Endo immediately starts working on another project to develop a low-cost prosthetic.
Very few people with prosthetics are willing to do things like jump into the ocean, go to a hot spring, or climb a mountain. I want to make an inexpensive prosthetic so that they can do these things.
Since most prosthetics are expensive, many people are reluctant to do things that may damage them. That gave Mr. Endo the idea to make a low-cost prosthetic leg so that people would be more willing to partake in outdoor activities. There was one person that he wanted to be the first to test it out.
Kazuhiro! It's been a while.
Mr. Endo visits his old friend in Toyama Prefecture. He has brought along his prototype so that Mr. Yoshikawa, who now works in construction, can be the first to use this low-cost prosthetic.
無茶できるような義足もあったりしたら面白いからいいかなというふうに思ったりしますね。
To make a prosthetic leg for his good friend. This is the future that Mr. Endo has long envisioned.
10代ぐらい知ってたんだけどね、もう
Okay, let's go. Be careful, but it should be okay.
いけるかな。
It's a bit shaky. I've designed it so that the leg doesn't bend when the foot hits the ground. Is it too long?
いや、そんなに。そうそう、なるほど。ああ、そうそうそう、うまいうまい。なってんだ、こういう風に。あ、すごい。
It's quite stable, isn't it?
固まりますね。もっと心もとないものかと思う。あ、このカチンって止まるのがすごい。こんだけの気候で。そうそう。この。
I actually had to redesign the prototype many times.
あ、これはすごい。
It's light, isn't it?
軽い。いや、結構普通に歩くの十分ですね。
I had to calculate the angle and area.
はめ込む部分をすげえ実験的にやってる。滝に打たれることができる場所があるんですよ。だけどやっぱちょっと義足だと躊躇しちゃったりとかして、やっぱそういうこうもう一段階向こうの楽しみ、そこで滝に突っ込めたら楽しいけど、なんか義足だからちょっとなとか思っちゃうところがあって、でそういうなんかタガをパンと外してくれるようなものになるのがいいかなと思いますね。いつかケンさんにいただいたメールの中に高みで会おうっていう言葉が書いてあってもうそれがすごく僕は励みになっていて、きっとその僕もいつかですね高みに上がればケンさんと同じレベルでその人の生活や豊かなその暮らしみたいなところに一緒に 何かアプローチができていくんじゃないのかなっていうのを夢見ていて、なので僕も頑張んなきゃなといつも活躍見て思ってます。
Thank you so much. Honestly, it makes me really happy. Disabilities have the potential of becoming something positive. I hope the world becomes a place where not having legs isn't considered a disability. I'm going to keep working to make that a reality. Thank you.
Ota-san, not only I was impressed with his achievement, but I was amazed at the smooth and almost effortless move of those prosthetic legs.
Indeed. But challenge is the cost. The cost stays over $10,000 each.
Oh, I see. Well, I guess with all those advanced technology packed inside, the price ended up being quite high.
Naturally. That seems to be the case. That's why Mr. Endo has succeeded in developing a more affordable prosthetic. This is the one.
Yes.
It looks much simpler, but basically it's the same.
Well, how much do they cost?
He's aiming to sell them in Japan for $100 or $200.
Wow.
And India for about $30.
That's a great news.
That's right.
Well, what originally led him to this field of work?
Mr. Endo heard from a college friend that an NGO in India was distributing $10 prosthetic legs for free. That story stuck in his mind, and he realized how important it was for people in developing countries to have access to inexpensive prosthetics.
I see. Well, adjusting to local conditions and need is very, very important.
I agree. So that's why he started developing a low-cost but functional prosthetic. This is a picture of a man in India. As you see, in India, people often sit in cross-legged position. So the prosthetic is designed to bend to 120 degrees like this.
So you
That's
can
it
sit
goes
in
deeper.
cross-legged position.
That's right. It goes deeper than the regular ones.
Well, those details are something I'm sure users will appreciate. Well, after the break, we'll be taking a look at LEDs.
The Norin Shukin Bank has a mission to fulfill. We are committed to the advancement of agriculture, fisheries, and forestry in Japan. Backing the network of our people and communities to help and support one another is a source of pride for us. This is our style of banking. We're banking on trusted networks. The Norin Shukin Bank.
Changing emissions from copper refineries into fertilizer. That is where Sumitomo Chemical got its start. For 100 years, we've been delivering the power of chemistry around the world. And we will continue to help make the world a better place for the next 100 years and more.
Perhaps it's true. Perhaps we've been in too much of a hurry. Day by day, technology advances. But sometimes we need to pause and listen to what nature is saying. Surely, steadily, and lovingly. These, we believe, are the essentials of manufacturing. Our technologies, your tomorrow. Mitsubishi Heavy Industries.
How do we build sustainability into our relationship with Mother Earth? That's Kaiteki, Mitsubishi Chemical Holdings.
Since ancient times, these massive stones have been bathed in sunlight. Local rituals, dating back to prehistoric times, attest to man's respect for the sun's power. The sun continues to nourish us, always, everywhere.
Today, Panasonic is helping people reduce CO2 emissions with solar panels and other energy management technologies. Panasonic, ideas for life.
The search is on to discover the next creative master of Asia. Japan's leading TV and radio network, TBS, brings to you the Digicon 6 Awards, giving visual artists in Asia an opportunity to create their dreams. Whether it's a short drama, animation, or music video, if it's yours, you may be the next winner of the Digicon 6 Grand Prize. For more details, check out digicon6.com. It's time to create your dreams.
Asia, the engine of the global economy. The pulse of the region at your fingertips with unique insights from Nikkei. With Nikkei Asian Review, stay up to date on the latest economic trends anywhere in the world. Read the future, lead the economy. Nikkei, Japan's leading media for business.
You're watching Channel Japan. Next, we'll be introducing you to popular economics program. Today, it's an episode from TV Tokyo's World Business Satellite.
This is a company called Nitto in Yokohama. Inside are various equipment, such as pressing machines. They are a small workshop subcontracted to make metal molds and components. In one section, the president, Hideyuki Fujisawa, is busy doing something.
iPhone 5用のケースの耐久試験をやっております。
An iPhone case? Why so rough?
電話がかかってきた時にですね、こんな風にもしもしと電話が出ることができます。もう一つの機能として iPhone スタンドとしてこんな風に便利に利用することができます。
The screen cover pops open so that it can be used as a stand. The biggest feature is the nunchuck type of movement. This is actually the company's first product developed in-house.
昨今の厳しいものづくりの状況で何か自社製品をやらなければいけないと。
They launched a case for the previous generation of the iPhone last August and sold 1,200 in 1 month. And last December, they released another for the iPhone 5. Mr. Fujisawa says they were able to develop their own product and grow out of their subcontracting role because of a certain tool.
クラウドファンディングは非常に大きな役割を果たしましたし、それがなければ今回製品化はできなかったと思っています。
Crowdfunding is a system through which companies with business ideas can seek funding from individual investors over the internet. The company collected over $14,000 from 200 people to start mass production. This is the mold that the company made with crowdfunding. But money isn't the only advantage.
町工場の弱かったですね、マーケティングの部分ですとか、販路獲得の部分でクラウドファンディングが非常に有効な手段だと思いました。
In the process of seeking funds, potential investors provided various ideas and advice. The feedback is used to improve products and functions. The investors can also become agents, promoting products over the internet and expanding sales channels. They say the atmosphere in the company has also changed.
何を言い出したのかなという印象だったんですけれども、自分たちの作ったものが世に出ていくという意識の中でやれるというのは非常にモチベーションのアップになっているので、やっててすごい楽しいですね。
Until recently, few workshops took advantage of cloud funding. But this scheme is said to be particularly suited for such producers since they are more nimble than bigger counterparts.
町工場だから小さい中小製造業だからできるものづくりをやっていくと。でもう一つ楽しいものづくりを日本で、また中小企業でやることによって若い人にとってまだまだ日本の製造業頑張れるぞというのを発信していきたいと思っております。
The move away from subcontracting is accelerating. Gathered together are second and third generation owners of small workshops, including Mr. Fujisawa.
本業はバネを作ってます。
機械加工屋です。はい。どんどん仕事が薄くなってきている部分で、自社製品を開発したいなと、下請け脱却と。
This is a seminar on product development held by consulting firm Enmono. On this day, they are discussing ways to promote products on video upload sites.
でも町工場でこういう武器が簡単に手に入ればいくらでも自社をねアピールできるじゃないですか。そう。これはすごいことだよな。
The lecturer, Yasuji Miki, advocates a concept he calls micro-manufacturing.
マイクロものづくりっていうのは何ですか？
基本的に自社で企画をして自社で生産して自社で売っていくというもう本当に小さいマイクロなメーカーになるということ。
Mr. Miki visits a company he's currently advising.
こんにちは。
Kazuaki Katogi is in the midst of developing a new product.
こういったプリント基板アートのアクセサリーになります。
Green and gold accessories which are made by applying the company's circuit board design technologies.
電気業界がのメーカーさんがお客さんなんですけどもかなり厳しいですね。本業を持続させたくて残したいんでこういうことができますというアピールも、含めた、自社商品ですね。
The opportunities are growing for fast-moving workshops. Daichi Watanabe is also a second-generation workshop owner. He arrives at a facility 2 minutes from Shin Yokohama Station.
こちらがうちの工場です。
ここで物を作ってらっしゃいますか？
はい、こちらで物を作ってます。
Separated from the office by a thin wall is a room with several machines. This company uses 3D printers to make prototypes of car components and medical equipment. This machine appears to have finished making something. Rising out of the liquid is
これが自社製品の心臓モデルです。
a model of a human heart. They began selling a product based on this model last June. The texture and structure have been recreated with a high degree of precision. About 15 of them are sold every month for use in experiments. One of the biggest characteristics of this project is the sales channel.
新規の引き合いについてはほとんどがネットになります。
In fact, 90% of sales, including in their primary business, come from the internet.
見積もり来ましたね。お願いします。
わかりました。
Requests arrive by email.
保存したので出しをお願いします。
She opens the design file and begins writing up the estimate. The company rule is to send back an estimate within 1 hour. Once the customer agrees, the request is quickly forwarded to the production floor. The data is adjusted and inputted to start production. For models of skulls, they guarantee shipment within 36 hours.
インターネットの環境っていうのは大きいです。間口が革新的に広がったっていうのはありますね。
Retooling old ideas to adapt to the times is Mr. Watanabe's policy.
中小製造業をいつでも変われると、メイドインジャパンという言葉を皆様と一緒に、他の中小の方々と一緒に復権をしていきたいと。
From subcontractor to self-branding, small workshops may be the true spearheads of a manufacturing revolution.
Well, Ota-san, what do we have next?
First, have a look over here. Those are the three basic colors of LEDs.
Yes.
As you know, LED have become widely used in homes, businesses, and factories since they consume a tenth of electricity required by conventional light bulbs. And also because they are long-lasting and energy-saving, so they are widely used. Demi-san, do you use anything that works with LEDs?
Well, I recently bought an LED lamp for in case of emergency.
For emergency,
yes.
That's a good one. I'm not sure if you know, but LEDs are starting to be used for traffic light.
Yes, I've noticed that they're a lot brighter and easier to see, especially during the daytime.
Yes, it is. Another area in which LEDs are becoming widespread is illuminations, like those you find around the city and at amusement parks. Those illuminations can actually have an economic effect. Take a look.
Facing Omura Bay in Nagasaki Prefecture is a theme park called House Tenbos. The sun has set. Suddenly, a figure of a large bird appears. A musical parade has just begun. Men and women dressed in bright-colored costumes sing and dance down the street. There are bright lights throughout the theme park. This is a show called The Kingdom of Lights. The main feature is the massive scale. From this year, they began using over 10 million light bulbs, making it the biggest such show in the world.
感動しました。はい。
カップルだったらですね、一回は来てみていいと思いますけどね。
This event is the brainchild of a man who put the company back into the black after 18 straight years of losses.
この光の王国やってからこの冬場も黒字になりましたから、いやすごい利益の貢献してると思いますね。はい。まあ去年でもこの12月だけでももう本当に何億も利益出てますし。
The show is central to Mr. Sawada's strategy of bringing in visitors. Every year, they invest huge sums to ensure it's a success.
去年作ったんですね。この光の王国が観覧車で見えるように。はい。
They've even built a new Ferris wheel to let people see the show from the sky. There's an additional fee to get on, but the view is said to be spectacular. And here, at the Palace House Tenbos, they've reintroduced another event. It's another illumination show which the lights change rhythmically with the music. By offering such new attractions, the once struggling company has reversed falling visitor numbers and increased profit for 3 years running. This year, the number of visitors topped 2 million for the first time in 5 years.
ディズニーにもユニバーサルにもこれだけのイルミネーションはないと思いますね。年々どんどん良くしていって、世界の人がこのハウステンボスに来たいなと思うような光の王国にぜひしたいと思ってますね。はい。
In Japan, there has been an explosion in illuminations. Travel information provider Rurubu.com says the number of illumination spots featured on their website has increased by over 200 in the past 5 years. The establishment of a business model for illuminations is said to be behind this trend.
LED がですね、やっぱりこう消耗しないっていうところもやっぱりあってですね、100万球のそのイルミネーションをやったとしてもですね、それを翌年また同じ規模でできて、また同じお金が稼げてしまうっていう意味で、お金を生む装置としてはですね、非常に定番化してきたっていうことが言えると思いますね。
It has been a boon for light installation companies. Mebius is a company that sets up illuminations for some of the most popular events in the country. It's still early morning, but they're busy preparing for a new project. Their destination on this day is the Yamaha Resort Tsumagoi in Shizuoka Prefecture. They were hired to install illuminations for a show started this year. After the staff begin working, the company president heads to a narrow space underneath the steps. He checks a computer. What is he doing?
主にイルミネーションですとか照明装置の制御をするためのソフトウェアです。
The use of computers is increasingly common as illuminations become more complex. That has spurred competition in the development of software programs.
数が多いので、差別化を図っていかないといけないような状態にここ最近なってきている。
Illuminations are also being used in other surprising ways. In Tottori Prefecture, a mass of people walks through an illumination. This place is actually a sand dune. It is an event held every year.
This 愛の鐘って言いまして、鳴らすと幸せが訪れるという。
This year, about 100,000 people are expected to visit. It was originally started to revitalize struggling towns in the prefecture. They say the economic effect is significant. The estimate for the event held 3 years ago? Over $7 million.
今期は10万人目標にしてますんで、9億2000万円ぐらいの経済効果を見込んでいます。
To generate an even bigger windfall for local economies, they began issuing a passport this year. By shopping at local businesses, visitors collect stamps that can be used to win travel vouchers.
各加盟店の方で各種サービスが特典が受けられる。
We visited a shopping arcade next to Tottori Station, where many of the participating stores are located.
メイン通りもそうなんですけども、やっぱりこう一本入ったところとかは本当に昼間からシャッター閉まってて、なかなか新しいお店が入らなかったりっていうところは非常に多いですね。
The sand dunes are about 20 minutes by car from the city center. The local government has been working with businesses to tap into this big tourist crowd.
鳥取砂丘から、このやっぱり中心街をつないで、こっちの方でも元気になってほしいということから企画をしてます。
Illuminations are providing a glimmer of hope for regions and businesses struggling to survive.
How much of an effect do those illuminations have for other facilities?
This is a popular amusement park near Mount Fuji called Sagamiko Resort Pleasure Forest. Since they started nighttime illumination, it's beautiful, isn't it?
Yes, very pretty.
They say the number of visitors has increased.
I see.
Apparently, it's especially popular among couples.
I believe so. Well, I think it was packed during the holiday seasons.
This is something different.
Yes.
It's a type of LEDs, LED lights that's being used in Japanese homes. It's a ceiling light.
I've never seen the ceiling like this colorful.
It's very colorful. It keeps changing automatically if you turn it on. And inside this is what it looks like. See, it emits three basic colors of red, green, and blue. So you can adjust them to create your own colors by mixing them up.
Right, you mix the colors. Well, you could set a mood for every room or different situation, I think.
Right, I wonder what his usage might be. There are a lot of possibilities with LEDs, but I think the key is that they don't consume as much electricity and are long-lasting. If they become more widespread around the world, they could contribute to energy saving.
I think so too. Well, I'm sure we'll be seeing more of them in our lives. Well, that's all for this edition of Channel Japan. We have much more in store for you, so make sure to tune in next week.
My parents work at a really great company, which makes cool computers and LCD TVs. Not only that, they build elevators for skyscrapers and zooming fast bullet trains. My mom designs the company's CT scan systems, which spot diseases. My dad develops power generation systems so people will have plenty of electricity. The company where my parents work is Toshiba.
Has anybody finished doing their pictures?
I have.
All around the world, Toshiba technology is hard at work, bringing smarter, faster, more sustainable development to life.
When I grow up, I want to work for people.
For a growing future, Toshiba.
Traditional.
Consistent.
Precise.
Speedy.
Professional. Innovative.
Polite. Quality from Japan. The best of business in Asia. SMBC. Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation.
We've just added a new power shovel, and it's great.
Really? Who makes it?
Kobelco.
Kobelco? Never heard of it.
It's Japanese. And let me tell you, its fuel efficiency is incredible.
Oh.
Kobelco's power shovel delivers more while consuming less. Just like my sweetie.
Don't say that.
And powerful too.
The talk of the world. Kobelco.
We are protecting the world's #1. So the equipment we provide also has to be the world's highest standard. Tokyo Skytree is protected from strong winds by vibration control systems. At this very moment, our technology is limiting sway at the top of the world's tallest tower with millimeter precision. Our technologies, your tomorrow. Mitsubishi Heavy Industries.
The search is on to discover the next creative master of Asia. Japan's leading TV and radio network, TBS, brings to you the Digicon 6 Awards. Giving visual artists in Asia an opportunity to create their dreams. Whether it's a short drama, animation, or music video, if it's yours, you may be the next winner of the Digicon 6 Grand Prize. For more details, check out digicon6.com. It's time to create your dreams.
Channel Japan. Direct from Tokyo to the world. Get the latest stories from Japan as they happen on the ground. Business, fashion, culture, and food. Everything you need to know about the hottest trends across the country. Channel Japan.